Welcome to the 101st episode of Worldly Wise, the Federal's weekly Thursday podcast that attempts to deconstruct trending issues in international politics. United States President Donald Trump has thrown in a curveball by reaching a civilian nuclear cooperation agreement with Saudi Arabia. In an already inflamed Middle East or West Asia, the Trump administration's move to offer nuclear technology to the Saudis could amount to adding fuel to the existing fires that have singed the region for years. Worse, the US could be making the same mistake it committed several decades ago when it similarly reached agreements with Israel and Iran on sharing nuclear technology. We'll return to this a little later. According to the latest agreement between Washington and Riyadh, that will have to get the approval of the US Congress, which is just a formality, the US will build two nuclear reactors in Saudi Arabia. Though meant to generate electricity, the deal will allow the Saudis to enrich uranium and reprocess spent fuel, two activities that can theoretically enable the making of nuclear weapons. The agreement comes under Section 123 of the US's Atomic Energy Act of 1954, generally called the 123 or the 123 Agreement. Trump's reasons for signing the deal with Saudi Arabia claims to uphold the highest standards of nuclear safety and non-proliferation. This may sound innocuous, but the reality is that the US is attempting to counter Iran's successes in developing nuclear technology by giving a similar technology to its rival, Saudi Arabia. Since the Iranian Revolution of 1979, relationship between the Saudis and Iran have been severely strained. They view each other with skepticism, if not outright suspicion and hostility. This largely stems from the fact that the Saudis consider themselves the leader of the Sunni Muslim sect, while Iran projects itself as the head of the rival Shia Muslim sect. The mutual rivalry has had deep geopolitical consequences for the region. The irony is that Israel is the unintended beneficiary of this divide between the Saudis and Iranians. In recent years, Saudi Arabia has even politically moved closer to Israel. In fact, it would not be wrong to say that the Saudi government shares the Jewish state's worldview on Iran. In fact, before the October 7, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel and the consequent genocidal assault by Israel on Gaza, the Saudis were reportedly maneuvering to join the Abraham Accords and establish diplomatic relationship with Israel, similar to that between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, Morocco, and Bahrain, among others. But the Hamas attack and the consequent repercussions in the region and the widespread outrage against Israel stalled the Saudi Arabians from going further with that proposal. Saudi Arabia, a close ally of the US for decades, has not criticized the US and Israel for their unprovoked military strikes on Iran. The Saudi ruling family is more upset that Iran has been targeting US military bases in their country. The Saudis' pro-US position has resulted in Yemen's Houthis, a close ally of Iran, targeting its commercial ships traversing through the Bab el-Mandeb Straits in the Red Sea, similar to the Hormuz Straits in the Persian Gulf. Whether intended or not, Trump, in his usual unpredictable style, has alarmed his closest ally Israel by reaching a nuclear deal with the Saudis. For long, US administrations had conditioned such a deal on Saudi Arabia normalizing and establishing ties with Israel. Now that Trump has jettisoned this condition, Israel has lost this leverage against Saudi Arabia. This is seen within Israel as another indication of failing ties between Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. A few weeks ago, Trump, in a highly publicized call with Netanyahu, arm twisted him into agreeing to stop the bombing of Lebanon and cooperate with the US on its peace deal with Iran. Now, the nuclear accord between the US and Saudis is the second setback. If today the Middle East is saddled with a nuclear problem, the fault largely lies with the US. In the 1960s through the 70s, Israel covertly developed nuclear weapons technology after receiving the first nuclear reactor from the US under the so-called Atoms for Peace program in 1957. The then US administration of John F. Kennedy, that is in the 60s, was apparently not aware that Israel was trying to convert its nuclear infrastructure into a weaponable one. Later, when the administration got to know what Israel was doing, it preferred to look the other way. In the case of Iran, again, it was the USS Eisenhower administration in 1957 under the same Atoms for Peace program that helped it get a nuclear reactor and the initial infrastructure. This was when Iran was under the rule of the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a close ally of the US. In the 1979 revolution, the Shah was overthrown and replaced by Shia Islamists who continued to develop nuclear technology with the help of other nations, including Russia, China, and Pakistan. While Iran insists it is not developing nuclear weapons, it has aroused suspicions among the West, considering that it has enriched uranium to the extent of 60%. When the enrichment reaches 90%, it can be used in weapons. Israel, according to independent and credible reports, already has in its possession an arsenal of nuclear weapons. So, given the trajectory of Iran and Israel, it should surprise no one if the Saudis too later discreetly develop or try to develop nuclear weapons capability. Given the volatility and political instability in the region for the last several decades, the agreement will end up creating a fresh headache for future governments, including the US, and will become another constant source of doubt and insecurity for the world. The Trump administration has said that the nuclear technology agreement with the Saudis is being signed to enable it to harness nuclear technology for generating electricity and reducing dependence on oil. With the largest known availability of oil in Saudi Arabia, this reason does not hold much water. Also, considering that Saudi Arabia is among nations that can fully utilize solar energy, given the quality and reliability of sun power there, the installation of nuclear reactors is more a political move than one of genuine necessity. With a view to countering Iran, Washington is signing a nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia that, among others, is bound to destabilize the region even more. In short, Trump, like his predecessors, is making a mistake, gifting nuclear reactors to Saudi Arabia. Thank you.